Welcome everyone to Neverwinter on PC. My name is Reiner and today I'm going to talk about the most important question most people will have, which is what weapon set should I use in Mod 17? What is the best weapon set to use? If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you'd like to see more informational videos about Neverwinter, hit the subscribe button. Before we start, if you have not joined my Discord yet, go there. It is the place for factual data, relevant discussions and regular updates about Mod 17 and everything else about the game. If you're not in there, you are missing out. The link can be found in the description, but for now, let's go to the video. Of course, with Mod 17, as always with a mod, many things have been added to the game. There are plenty of videos out there already that cover the overview, but instead of covering that, I like to dive into the details and discuss the weapon sets. Mod 16 already introduced 4 new weapon sets, which will higher item level, and Mod 17 introduces another one. The Mod 17 weapon set has the same damage and stat values as the Mod 16 weapon sets, so we have 5 in total to choose from. Which one is the best? It all comes up to the equip bonuses. I'll make this a countdown and start with the worst up to the best for queued content. In particular, of course, for the new trial, which features higher enemy ratings. For those who do not understand yet how enemy ratings work, let me explain it one more time. With enemy ratings of 30,000, which the epic trial features, and Lair of the Mad Mage was 18,000 if you don't recall that as quickly. It's 30,000 now. This means that 4 of the enemy stats are valued at 30,000 and the other 4 are valued at 80,000. Exactly 50,000 more. Don't ask me why it's 50,000 more. This is just something that has been told to us by the developers. So now that we know what the enemy stats are, we can calculate what our own should be. Let's take defense for example. Our defense has to first overcome the enemy armor penetration. As you can see, the armor penetration is 30,000. So we need at least 30,000 defense to make sure the enemy does not penetrate our armor. At this point, our damage resistance is exactly 0. The maximum for damage resistance is 50%, and because 1% equals 1000 stat points, we need 50,000 more defense to get to the 50% cap. Adding up 30,000 and 50,000 means that we need a total of 80,000 defense to have the maximum damage resistance in this trial. Let me tell you, by the way, that this example is chosen for a reason. You will need to have your defense capped for the trial, and HP is also very important. There are massive hits in there that will kill you if you do not have enough defense and hit points. And you might be able to get back up with scrolls, but you will have revive sickness and you don't want that, trust me. Let's take another example. It's basically the same idea. Let's take critical strike as our second example. The enemy has 30,000 critical avoidance, so before we start critting, we first need to overcome these 30,000 statistics, so we need 30,000 crit. The maximum crit chance in this case also is 50%. Once again, 1% is 1000, so we need an additional 50,000 critical strike to get to the 50% crit chance cap, for a total of 80,000 once again. As you might have already expected, I have added all the new stat caps to the Pocket Wiki, which therefore isn't really Mod 16 specific anymore, but that's a naming issue that is not really super important. Now let's go to the actual weapon sets. As I said, there are 5 and they are all in these collections. On 5th place, so we start from the worst and go up to the best. On 5th place we have the Mountaineer Set. The Mountaineer Set is when you are 25 feet or closer to your target, your defense is increased by 5%, and when you are farther than 25 feet away from your target, your power is increased by 5%. This equip bonus will typically only increase your defense because most people are close to the enemy, and you have to be close to the enemy because other players in your party probably have melee powers that they're using, and in order to have the healing for all members of the party, you will have to be together with those allies. So you will typically not be getting the power buff from this weapon unless you are away from your allies and you are not getting healing. So this typically does not really synergize very well with multiplayer content. On fourth place is the weapon set that most people have, I guess, and or are trying to get on console. The fourth place is Alabaster. The Alabaster set says at the start of combat, your power and critical strike will be increased by 1% for every enemy you faced when starting combat, to a max of 10% for 10 seconds. 10% is the highest of all of the bonuses, but it's only for 10 seconds. If facing only one enemy at the start of combat, your power and critical strike will be increased by 5% for 1 minute. When you kill an enemy, this buff will refresh. So you almost never will get the 10%, and if so, it will only be for a split second, because once you kill one of those enemies, your bonus goes down. If you're facing a singular boss, like in the trial, you'll be getting the 5% power and critical strike, which is nice. The problem with this set is that you will only get it for 1 minute. After that, it's game over. You will not have any set. Since the trial is one prolonged fight, you will not be benefiting of this bonus for very much. That's why I put this on the fourth place. For single player content, just destroying trash mobs, doing your stuff without being in a trial, this is fine. But once you go into queued content, especially the trial, this one is just not that good. Then we get to the third place, and actually this is a shared second place. We get to the Burnished Set. I put this slightly below the next set, below the real second place, because this one I think it's very tight. The Burnished Set says when you're hit or healed for more than 50% of your maximum hit points in a single blow, your power and defense will be increased by 5% for 10 seconds. The good thing of this equip bonus is that it also works on overhealing. So if you are full health and your healer in the party heals you, they probably heal you for more than 50% of your maximum hit points, so your bonus will be refreshed. So if you have a decent healer, you will always have this bonus. However, this bonus only gives you 5% power and defense, only 2 stats. This is less good. It is 2 very important stats, but it's only 2 stats. And this is the main difference with the next set. The next set is the Lionheart Set. The Lionheart Set is a bit of a more textual set, is a lot more text here. Your armor penetration and defense are increased by 5% permanently, always. Then when you or your allies are outnumbered in combat, which is never in the trial, so I'm not even going to read the next bit. When you and your allies outnumber your enemies, which is always, your critical strike, accuracy and combat advantage are increased by 2.5%. So in total you get, let's take it simple because of course the values are different, but in total you get 12.5% here, bonus, on many different sets. And of course there's no power in here, but because you get so many different stats and they're all offensive and as we said before, the stat caps are going up, this actually frees up the rest of your gear from having to focus on these statistics. So that means you can put more power in your other statistics, which might just mean that you can use that Orcus set for your neck and belt and artifact or something of the sorts. So this weapon set can enable you to use something else. And you get a lot of stats, don't get me wrong. However, there is one weapon set that is definitely and massively the best weapon set in here, and that's the last one that we have to cover. It's the Watcher set, of course. It's also the most difficult one to get, I think, because the enemies are quite complicated. But this set is very, very good. At the start of combat, your power, armor penetration, critical strike and defense is increased by 1%. For every 5 seconds you are in combat, these increase by another 1% for a maximum of 5%. So after 25 seconds, you will have 5% power, armor penetration, critical strike and defense. That's 20% total, and power is also in here. So there's not even discussion here. I don't think there's discussion. We can always discuss about this, but having power in here and in total so many statistics and all relevant ones are increased, and there's no cooldown as well. So this is permanently if you're in combat, and the trial is, as I said before, one long combat. This set is absolutely best in slot for Mod 17. So if you are on PC still grinding this stuff, it's definitely worth getting these. And also in console, if you don't have these yet, you might think now in Mod 16 it's not worth it really. In Mod 17, this one for the trial is going to be very, very good. If you disagree with this list or have better insights, let me know either in the comments, or better yet, go to my Discord. I have made a specific Mod 17 channel in there to discuss everything Mod 17 related. As you might already know, I have been in the pre-testing team again, so I might be able to answer some questions that you might be having in that server. That was it for this video. If you have any remarks on this video or any suggestions on what to investigate next, feel free to leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.